Hello everybody, welcome to cold South Florida. It's cold this morning here in South Florida, but it is beautiful. It's turning out. It's early in the morning, so that's why it's cold, but it's going to get cooler out. But I want to talk about something very important today. So here's my garden, and I'm growing this food. I got kale, I got lettuce, I got some bok choy, and I got some more tomatoes growing over there. And I do my best to grow as much food as possible. And one of the things people tell me sometimes is they can't grow food because they don't have any space. Well, sprouting food you could do in your own house. Everyone has space to grow if you really, really want to do this. But it's so important to make sure you're getting your food as fresh as possible, eating as close to nature as possible. And I've made videos for a long time saying that eat your food as close to nature as possible. And what people would say is, what do you mean, like eat a candy bar at the park? And no, that's not what I mean. I mean eat the food as less processed or least processed as possible. And I've been posting a lot of videos lately by a 94-year-old raw food vegan who's been on a raw vegan diet for over 60 years. His name is Dr. Fred Bisci. And Dr. Fred Bisci talks about the real danger of not being healthy and getting disease. It's not necessarily what you add to your diet, it's what you leave out. And his number one thing he says to leave out of the diet that causes disease is processed foods. So what is processed foods? Well, I've been saying this for a long time. If it comes in a bag, box, container, or can, it's been processed to a major degree. Now you can go to the store, instead of just picking up an apple, sometimes they have like 4 or 5 apples in a bag, and that's not what I'm talking about. The real wrapper around the fruit or vegetable is the skin of the fruit or vegetable. But when you're getting something like in a can or truly in a bag or a wrapper or something else, like a candy bar, it's been processed and is so far away from its natural process here on a farm. It's completely different. Even, let's take for example this kale. I have kale right here. This is kale right where the cat is. This is kale. And it's not processed at all in any way. And if I eat this, wonderful. Now, some people will make kale chips. They'll take this kale, they'll put it in a dehydrator, hopefully at a low temperature. They'll make kale chips, they'll bag this, and they'll put it to the store. And it might sit on the shelf there in the store for who knows how long. Now that isn't too processed because they're dehydrating it and they're only adding maybe a couple of seasoning. But it's still processed and it's not going to be healthy as it is in its original form. So the majority of your diet, you want to leave the processed food out. Now, if you take this same kale and you powder it and put it in a green powder drink, it's now become a processed drink. But if you take this kale and let's say you put it in some processed cookies, kale cookies or whatever, and now it's becoming more processed, and this is kale. But when you look at things like a Twinkie, it's not even fresh vegetables they're putting in there. They're taking chemicals that you put into these mixtures and they put them in like a Twinkie. Somebody recently had a Twinkie and they said it looked the same way in the package 10 years after they bought it. The same way. And how the best way to know if something is processed or not by looking at it is, yes, if it comes in a bag, box, container, or can, it's processed. But food has a life process to it, or it's supposed to. Food is supposed to have a life process to it. So food has a ripening stage, a freshness stage, and a rotting stage. That's real food. Processed food does not have a rotting stage, or it's years, or not even ever. Real food has has these 3 stages. So the kale, for example, it has a ripening stage, a freshness stage, and then it starts to rot or starts to go bad. So when you're eating your food, think about that. Think about it. Does my food have these 3 life stages to it? It has a ripening stage, a freshness stage, and then a rotting stage. And also think about also think about the packaging, bag, box, container, or can. Is it coming in a bag, box, container, or can? And when you think about the food you're eating, how much of the food you're eating have the 3 stages of life to it, plus do not come in a bag, box, container, or can. And when you think about how much processed food you actually have in your diet, consider those things when you're making your choice about the best food you should be eating or not be eating. And hopefully that'll help you make some wise decisions about your health and the food you're putting in your body and what you decide to put in your body. All right, so I just wanted to share that with you. Important information. And put your comments or questions below. And if you want to see a whole bunch of other videos by Dr. Fred Bisci, go to my my channel. Well, go to my member website, rawlifehealthshow.com. I have a whole section on there with all of Dr. Bisci's videos I've done with him over the years. Excellent information by somebody who's been eating a raw vegan diet for over 60 years. And there's so many other videos there as well. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. Until then, have a great day and a great raw life.